This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
Folks from all over Grant County braved the Saturday wind and rain to come to Yonezawa Park in Moses Lake for the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's Disease. The 10th annual George Bluegrass Music Festival wrapped up this weekend at the George Community Hall. The Warden Cougars look to avoid another close loss for the third week in a row as they came to David Nielsen Memorial Field to face the undefeated Royal Knights as the two teams renewed their rivalry Friday night.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Folks from all over Grant County braved the Saturday wind and rain to come to Yonezawa Park in Moses Lake for the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's Disease. More than 300 participants took part in this year's event, which raises funds for the National Alzheimer's Association. Joel Loiacono is the regional director for the Alzheimer's Association and talked about how the walk brings people together to help bring awareness to a disease which can impact everyone.
There are over 100,000 people with Alzheimer's disease in the state of Washington. It is the third leading cause of death among adults in the state, so that's why we want to get a cure for this disease. At the same time, family members and people with dementia need support. It's not just Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is one of 70 different types of dementia, and we support families dealing with any type of dementia. And a lot of people think it's an old person's disease. Well, there are 200 to 300,000 people in the country with Alzheimer's disease who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s with the disease. So it is not a seniors only disease.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. The 10th annual George Bluegrass Music Festival wrapped up this weekend at the George Community Hall. Bands and musicians from all over the country flocked to the area to share in their appreciation for the music that's been part of American culture since the Great Depression. Bassist Mike Karbowski is from Cincinnati, Ohio, and his band, The Weevils, have played in the festival since 2014. He talked about how he got into bluegrass music and why he enjoys coming back to George every year.
Well, my banjo friend came over one day and saw my bass sitting there. I used to play folk music in college. And he said, "Can you play bluegrass?" And I said, "What's that?" So after that, we just had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a surprise. You know, we looked on the map and it was like, okay, will there be like 4 people here? But you can see that people come from all over the state and even outside the state to hear good music.
So for you, what's the fun part of this?
Oh, the crowd reaction. They love it.
If you missed this year's festival, don't worry. The annual event returns to the George Community Hall next September.
Everybody's gonna have one full time up there. Oh, yes. Everybody's gonna have one full time up there. Oh, yes.
In George, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. The Warden Cougars look to avoid another close loss for the third week in a row as they came to David Nielsen Memorial Field to face the undefeated Royal Knights as the two teams renewed their rivalry Friday night. Unfortunately, Warden never had much of a chance as Royal marched downfield on their first drive and quarterback Caden Jenks took the bootleg in to get the Knights on the board first. The Cougars tried to respond in their following drive, but running back Kevin Garcia fumbled the pass reception from Tanner Scone and Royal recovered. That set up Alonzo Hernandez barreling it in for Royal's second touchdown a few plays later to make it 14-0. The Knights would build a 3-score lead after the first quarter. They'd keep rolling through the second as Jenks led the offense back to the end zone time and again while the defense managed to hold Warden's offense in check both on the ground and in the air. The Knights led 42-0 at the halftime break, and despite a late Cougar touchdown in garbage time, they'd roll to a 56-6 win at home, moving to 3-0, while the Cougars dropped to 0-3. Royal welcomes the College Place Hawks to town next week, while Warden heads home to face the Connell Eagles next Friday night. In Royal City, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 Sports. It was a rough week 3 for Grant County football as Moses Lake, Quincy, Ephrata, and Soap Lake suffered some tough losses. Quincy and Ephrata square off in the annual Battle of the Basin at JC Stadium this Friday night.
Still seeing plenty of sunshine this week. Hi, Jeff Slakey from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center taking a look at the basin's forecast. Monday, partly cloudy and 73. 71 on Tuesday, 74 for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, more sunshine and 75. This weekend looks to be nice and in the upper 70s. Looking for a car? Try Barry Motors. Located in Ephrata, Wenatchee, and Moses Lake, Barry Motors is one great place to buy a car. For iFiber One News, I'm Jeff Slakey.
This is iFiber One News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at ifiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.